Your life is important. And if trauma from the past is still affecting you and holding you back, it's so, so vital that you heal this. Not just so that you can feel happier, even though it's very important that you're happy. It's important to heal because getting free of trauma may be the very thing you need to liberate your gifts. Your gifts are the unique abilities you have that the world needs. And if you've been feeling like no matter what you do, you keep feeling empty and your life is meaningless and the world has ripped you off and life is passing you by, I'm just going to say it. You might be locked out of your gifts. It could be that you're doing the wrong thing, or it could be that you're not seeing the possibilities right in front of you, but you know on some level that you're meant to be doing something more than you are right now. Trauma really gets in the way of that. But the knowledge that you are meant for more, it lives in your mind just like your gift lives in your being, in your potential. Your gift is needed, and you may just be walking around having no idea what it is, or you may think you know what it is, but maybe you're wrong. That can happen. And we got to look at this because I believe it's impossible to be truly, fully happy until you're running on all 6 cylinders, using everything you've got to, yes, make a living, of course, but also do something great for the benefit of others. I'm Anna Runkle, also known as the Crappy Childhood Fairy, and today I'm going to read a letter from someone I'll call Jane, who's having a miserable time trying to make it as an artist. And she says, "Dear Anna, can you speak to the issues an artist faces? The nature of the work is so isolating, and one can get thrown off easily if the work isn't going well. A lot of artists ask the question, why, with overconsumption in the universe, are artists living in basements?" She says, "I know my art lives a dead-end life in a damp, dark space. So few artists are ever shown and given opportunities. Making a living is a struggle, and I'm tired of not being an equal to a white-collar worker. And forget Hollywood, I'm envious. There is a who knows who aspect to even get your work exhibited. It seems to me I was given this talent and not the one I asked for, and often I wish it had been given a different skill set. Maybe you can discuss how to see this differently. Thanks. Looking for equality and peace, Jane." All right, thank you for that, Jane. This sounds like a really hard place, and this may come as a tough love message, but your working conditions, the way that you feel so unrewarded and so stuck, are probably more limited by your own trauma and the pain that you carry than by the universe or how much people consume that you focused on, or capitalism or anything else outside yourself. It's the inside job, owning what you want in your life and taking back your own power to create your life, to do what you want to do, to leave things that you don't like. So you said that so few artists are ever shown and given opportunities. And yes, at a certain level, that's totally true. But actually, you don't have to wait for galleries to show your work. I think if you choose to do art with the aim to get into like major galleries and be chosen and shown and funded, you're choosing this little tiny narrow path that is so easy to fail at. Because as you say, I believe you, it's a who knows who thing. It's, I don't even know like what people are buying at that level, that very expensive level. You're actually choosing to go into that. And it's, you know, I don't want to sound like a discouraging parent here, but it's a self-hating choice if what you really want is to be creative, to be using this talent that you have, to be enjoying it, to be making money off of it. Now, one thing I would say is when we're talking about gifts, they are a little different than talents. And I'm not really sure if what you're describing is a gift. And because it makes you miserable, and because it's not finding people, I'm just sort of wondering if it's more something you enjoy, but not your gift. And I don't mean to, you know, that's like not a bad thing actually. Like a person's gift could be healing. You know, they might be healing people in one aspect of their life and making a living selling insurance. And that's perfectly good because, you know, it's good to make a living. And some sort of healing work might be unpaid. Or they might have a gift for healing and they've figured out a way to make a perfectly good living at it. You know, they could end up being a clinician of some kind. And so I want to point your attention to that the thing that you love has many forms of expression, And the idea that it has to meet the approval and payment and like validation of all these structures out there in the world, it's a self-hating choice. You've disempowered yourself from being in charge of your own fate right there. And like you said, you admitted you have this envy. You know, envy is one of the 7 deadly sins. It's a terrible thing, and it cuts you off from the light, from that power that you need to actually create anything at all. So envy just, it kills. I know you know this intellectually. You don't want to be comparing yourself to other people. You want to be getting more and more true to yourself. So just to go back over some of the first points I've made here is your gift is something that is going to start feeling good to you, and it's something that is going to land with people. A gift is yours for the purpose of benefiting others. You have many aspects to yourself. You might have a separate profession. You might have hobbies. Like I heal, but I also like to knit. I also like to raise frogs. I really like TV. You could have these talents, and I happen to be incredibly good at accounting. Actually, I'm not talking about myself. I'm not good at accounting. But I could be, and that doesn't mean it's my gift. It could be a talent. I have a few talents. I have a pretty good singing voice, but I don't think singing is my gift. When I sing, basically nothing happens. When something happens for me is when I tell my story. I started doing that in like living room gatherings, and I began to notice that people became spellbound when I told my story, and they started to say, "When you told me that story, I was so moved." So as I came to understand gifts, that's a sign. That's a sign. So with your art, Jane, when you do it, whether people buy it or not, when you do your art, does it have an impact on people that in some way lifts them up, inspires them, makes things better for them or for the world? Does it do that? And again, this is not a judgment. It's just a criteria to decide, is this a gift? So you self-described it as a talent, but you were worried about having, like saying, oh, I was given this talent and I didn't even want it and I wish it was something else. You know what? Ignore the talent. I'm really talented at making spreadsheets. I don't want to do it for a living. I don't want to do it for other people. The older I get, the less I have to make Excel spreadsheets. Wahoo, right? If you don't like using your talent that much, if it's making you that miserable, let it go. Let it go. You say you wish you had another skill set. Well, I felt that way in 2008. I had been working as a customer experience consultant. I enjoyed that work a lot, but when all my clients got laid off from their jobs, I didn't have any work. And I actually owned a house. I had 2 kids. I was a divorced single mom. I had to come up with a way to make some money. And so I thought sometimes necessity is the mother of invention, right? And I had to think really quick, like, how am I going to do this? How could I thought about how much money I needed, and it was way more than I made per hour. And so I just thought it through. I did the math. What would I have to do to make the amount of money I need? And the thing that came to mind is that I used to know how to make videos. I used to study video production. I never really worked in it, but it was something I did as a hobby. And I made cold calls to 10 people I knew who worked in organizations that might hire somebody to make a video. And this is 2008. It was really new to put videos on your website, but it could be done. Like bandwidth was a big issue. YouTube had only been out like two years. And I said, hey, I can make you a video to put on your website, and I think it would do amazing things to, help educate your audience or sell whatever you're selling. I called just 10 people. I made a decision. I'll call 10 people a day. I hate making cold calls, by the way. I hate making cold calls, but I did it because I needed the money. And I think that whole year I only made $11,000. I had to do something, and so I got a podcast on how to make a cold call. I made some cold calls. I said, I'll do 10 a day. I did the research. I called 10 people. It was agony. I just felt so stupid. Well, the next day, guess what? I had 3 video projects, and one of them didn't pay anything, and one of them was a big drag, and one of them was a pretty decent video project with a university, and they ended up turning into a regular client. And then I felt a little braver, and then I actually had a video to put in my portfolio, and I shared that with some more people that I knew who had jobs still. And then another one, I got another major client, and for like 4 or 5 years, I made videos for that organization. And I gotta say, I had no idea what I was doing. Video had gone digital while I was not making video. And so I found somebody who kind of knew how to shoot and edit, and we made so many mistakes together. We didn't understand about formatting or color correction, and there were sound problems. And I used to just be like freaking out the whole time, very high stress. But I learned, and then the person who did the editing wasn't around, and the deadline was there. I forget, I can't even remember what happened. So really fast I had to learn to edit, and you know what I did? I Googled, how do I edit video? And I had the software, but it was daunting back then. It was Final Cut 7. That's what I bought. And it was really hard. I had never learned how to do it, so I knew somebody who knew it. She couldn't do the job, but I was just like, can you just show me really fast how to edit? And she showed me like 5 moves. And then like all clunky on my laptop, I actually edited the video. I did it badly. I turned in the draft. I made the deadline. Later, the real editor came back. We saw it through. We got paid. You know, and I survived. I survived for another, a few years later, actually, I was making pretty good money as a video producer. I had dozens of clients. I knew how to edit. I like video editing, but I learned it by Googling it. And so, long story for you, Jane, this is what I want to say. So my husband, he paints watercolors for pleasure, and he decided that he wanted to take it seriously, and he started paying a few $100s a month to go to an online school for it. And this online school, it organizes some really good teachers, and they each are in their home studios. This is the time of social distancing. They're in home studios, and they've mounted 4 cameras, one on the ceiling, some on the sides. They've mounted their cameras, and they're showing what they're doing. And some of them are like super shy, but they're good. They're all good painters. They were chosen, and they're teaching watercolor painting. And the online school, has an arrangement where they get, I don't know, half the money or something, some really good part of the money. The school gets part of the money for organizing the whole thing and marketing it to people. And it ends up being this fabulous way that painters can make money. And it ends up being a way that somebody like my husband can get really fine, high-level training in painting without going to art school, because you know what that costs, a few $100s a month. And he gets to watch all these videos, and he gets live training, and for a little extra, he can have a consultation with one of the painters you can take a picture of your work and send it in. So I'm just trying to tell you, Jane, like your picture of being limited and the world being against you and there's no opportunities and it's so unfair. I'm just like, you know what, this is your fear. And I say that with the utmost love, because as Crappy Childhood Fairy, this is what I deal in. I help people see that they're having fear and resentment, and to get free of it. Because you free, Jane, you get to make art, and you get to invent ways that you can bring it to people and get money for it. And I've never seen your art, but I'm going to believe you. It's probably quite good, right? But you're waiting for other people to give you permission to sell it. It's not working. Pivot time, take control back of your art. Between the internet and the public's incredible shift toward online education, people like you and me have a huge opportunity to bring our art directly to people. I used to have to wait for permission from authorities and institutions too. I love this. Do you know Crappy Childhood Fairy? I started it with an idea and a laptop. I was taping my videos on my laptop. Then my teenage son, he had a little camera, and you'll go look at the early videos. They're made by a teenager, and it kind of shows. And he helped me make them, and it was this really positive experience for us. And I put them up on YouTube. And many of you have heard the story. I put them on YouTube so that I could stream them into my blog. I thought my blog was going to be the thing. And I had, I don't know, like 21 subscribers over there or something. And one day I went over to YouTube to look at the videos, and there were like 1,000 subscribers. It was crazy. I had no idea. Like, I was way more popular on YouTube than I was on the blog, where I was putting in all the effort. And so the lesson here is, when you're seeking for what it is you do and how to do it, and where is the opening for you to do your wonderful thing, you just start doing it. You take little steps at a time. Every day you take a little action towards the thing you're trying to do. Completely open-minded, that you might be going in the wrong direction, but that your experience blundering into that direction is actually going to teach you something. So I learned how to edit video because the person I brought in to do it for me flaked out and went away one day. You know, I learned by necessity, and I learned how to put videos on YouTube and make things that would be useful to you. I mean, you know about me because of YouTube, right? I didn't even set out to be a YouTuber, but there it is. It started happening. And whereas I thought my gift might be, I had a hunch that it was something to do with writing about complex PTSD and teaching people the techniques that I had learned. I thought that's where it would go. I started opening my mouth on YouTube. People started watching. That benefit to other people started giving me energy to keep going, and inspired me and directed me and gave me that push to try to do something more and better. And I would now say it's actually, the blog is fine. The blog is how some people like to consume the information. So cleaned up transcripts of my videos go there most weeks, not even every week. But the videos is really where my gift comes alive, and where I feel most like I'm connecting with people and being of service, or trying to. It makes me so happy to actually be connected to people who can benefit from what I'm doing. And I think you need that, Jane. I think that's why it's feeling like you're in this terrible basement. Part of it is you don't have money. Part of it is because you're not connecting with people and serving them in the way that you need to. If this is your gift, you need to be somehow lifting other people up with it. You know, gifts are sometimes things like, you know, there's sometimes very unsexy things like administration. Some people have a gift for that, and if we didn't have them, nothing would get done. Some people have a gift for hospitality. They just find that people are all over their house all the time. You know, people just feel safe there, or they feel they feel like they can relax there. That's the gift of hospitality. So what you're looking for is the sign of where do people benefit. And I think that's a profound reorientation of your artwork, rather than why haven't these people in a position to grant me visibility recognized me yet, to how can I serve people and make their lives richer and happier somehow through my work. Because when you can do that, you're a lot more likely to be able to make money off your work as well. Okay, so I hope that helps you. That's my talk on gifts. Gifts are not always talents, and it's not always how you make money, but it's really nice when there's some convergence there. And I was able to leave my last job. I don't produce videos anymore. I just do this, and it is my great joy to be doing this. And believe me, it paid nothing for a very long time. It really just cost a lot of money, and now I do make a living off of it. Yay, huh? So thank you. Thank you to everybody in YouTube land for making that possible. And I want for all of you to find your gifts too, and to start having that harmony between what you really have to bring to the world and your happiness, and how you get on with your day, how you fill your time, how you make your money and keep a roof over your head. I hope that comes together for you. Jane, don't forget to stay connected to people. Connection is so important. If I've learned one thing as Crappy Childhood Fairy that I had previously overlooked, it's that everything that we do to heal only works when some connection is mixed into the weave there. There needs to be some connection, as hard as it can be. I have a new course on connection. You can find it down in the description section below. If you like this topic about how to bring some joy into your work and find what you're really meant to do, I'm going to suggest you have a look at this video, which is about when your symptoms show up at work and what to do. And I will see you very soon.